Good evening. How you
Good.
doing?
I'm very well, thank you. It's a pleasure to have you here tonight.
Yeah, thank you so much. Forgive my face. I'm under the weather. Okay.
That's okay. I hope you make a full recovery.
Thank
So tonight we're supposed to have a very rich conversation
you.
on, real estate 101, real estate basics, real estate introduction for the enthusiast, for the realtor, and for the investor. And I look forward to exploring, that topic from your perspective because like I told everyone on the live, on the YouTube live, that Mercy Okeke, Madame Landlady, is a renowned real estate consultant. And in this era where Nigerians are faced with housing, issues, housing challenges, it's so important that we have realtors that are really committed to, you know, helping people, find affordable housing, affordable investment. So again, it is my pleasure to be having you here tonight.
Thank you.
My name is Fola, and I will be your host.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
It's my pleasure. Okay, so let's start with you because I know that there are a lot of aspiring realtors here. I know that there are a lot of aspiring investors here and enthusiasts as well. Let's start with your journey into real estate. What inspired you to start a career in real estate, and how did you get to start in the industry? I think I need you to give me the backstory because I don't think you studied construction or engineering in school or any of that. So how did you find yourself here? What did you think you were going to do initially?
Okay, so by the way, I just rounded up my first degree, right? And it's mass communication, not real estate. So I came into the industry in 2017, and I was not even aspiring to be a realtor. I was only looking for a job, right? That was
Yeah.
2017. I had a business idea. I wanted to sell hairs. I mean, it was trending. Every girl these days want to sell hair on Instagram. So I wanted to just do that girly stuff, sell hairs and, make money for myself. But I needed a million naira as my startup capital. And in 2017, nobody's going to give you 1 million naira for a business that only exists in your head, right? So I said, okay, I told my friends, and then I was an O-level holder. I only had my WAEC, right? So I told my friends, find me a job. Let me just find a way to save money and, start up this business. And then the next day, my friend in church told me, oh, I have a friend in Alaba International Market. If you're in Lagos, you may know Alaba International Market. It's one of the biggest electronics markets here in Lagos. So he told me he had a friend who needed a cleaner. No, he told me they're an office assistant, right? So I said, okay, office assistant, they're going to pay, office assistants, they're going to pay you. And that was what I had in my head. So I went there and then they told me it's a cleaner job. So I didn't even know that they call cleaners office assistants to make the name more demure. So and the pay was 20,000 naira. It did not make sense that I was looking for 1 million naira capital to start my business and I was taking a 10,000 naira job. But I didn't even think twice.
Yeah.
I just took the job. The next day, I figured that the company was into real estate. It's a real estate company, right? So while I was cleaning, every week the company does trainings, just like this trainings for realtors, investors to come and learn about real estate. So I'll clean the hall. So what I'll do is I was like, okay, let me just join and know what this company that I work for really, really does. And when I joined the training,
Curiosity.
I
Yeah.
figured that the company sells real estate, and then they had this platform where you could sell properties and earn commissions, 10%. And I did the mathematics. Okay, I'm looking for 1 million naira for my business. If I can sell one or two properties, I can, make money and start my hair business. And then I started, that was in 2017. And then I just said, okay, let me just start, talking to people about properties. And that was how I started.
Amazing. Amazing.
Reading, distributing flyers. I was doing traditional marketing, both online and offline, but nobody was even answering me. And I was like, what is going on here? So I went those 2 years, I didn't close a single deal. And 2017, 2018, 2019, my first deal came in September 2019. That was when I closed my first deal. And then the next year, In the next coming months, we had COVID-19, there was lockdown, it was crazy. And even in the midst of the lockdown, it was like the law of compounding effect, right? All my efforts in the last 2 years, everything came raining down in 2020. So whether there was COVID-19 or no COVID-19 or no lockdown, I saw the result of all my efforts in the last 2 years. So that's how I got here. Yeah, I think
Amazing.
that's the story.
That is quite the story. And now that you've made, that millions, have you started the hair business now? Let's know where to come everything.
That's why the hair business again. Oh, I'm not doing hair business.
You fell in love with real estate.
Yeah.
You fell in love with real estate and just, took it on from there. That is
Yeah.
quite the story. That is so interesting. Thank you so much for sharing that. So I can see that from what you've said, real estate is that business you can do with no capital, with zero capital. Yes, all you need to cash on is your, network and, sell to them. But I know you probably, mentioned one of those challenges, but I want you to tell us, what were some of the biggest challenges you faced in those early days in your real estate career? Now, this is for the, enthusiasts and for, the junior realtors.
So one of the challenges I faced, looking back right now, I went 2 years without closing a single deal, right? And
Wow.
ever since I became better, if I could use that word. I have closed over 100 plots in 30 days. I've sold 70 something plots in less than a month. So I do hundreds of plots in a month, something I could not even do one plot in 2 years, right? So what I think was the challenge for me was not having so first of all, at that time, I was doing more traditional marketing. So I would go to people physically and talk to them, random people that I didn't know. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know anybody. I was just a newbie trying to just make money for myself. So I was going to random people, and imagine someone walks up to you by the roadside. So let's say you are maybe walking by the road or you are seated in your office space. Someone walks up to you and tells you, hey, come and buy a property here. The first thing you'll be like, all these people, they are scam, I beg. That's the first.
Yeah.
When people see realtors, they just say, I beg, they are scammers. That was their ideology before now, that realtors are scammers or marketers, they want to eat your money and all of that. So there was that challenge, there was that narrative that was already in the hearts of people that, they see a random marketer as a scammer. But of course, they've had their own personal experiences with real estate scams. So their fears were actually very valid. So first of all, I think I was talking to the wrong people. And I was using the wrong approach. The wrong approach in the sense that these are people who have had their fingers burnt before, who have had their bad experience, who do not really have so much knowledge about property investment, and you are selling to them. Of course, they are going to be on the defensive. So that was the wrong approach to use for somebody. It's like you had a bad breakup, maybe a bad relationship, and someone is coming to tell you, I love you. The person you are all you men are the same thing. That's idea. That was what because when you want to meet that kind of person, you don't come with the approach of come and buy, my own will be different. Me, I am
right
different.
away.
What makes you think So I was using the wrong approach. That's one, because I needed them to heal. Let me use that word. I needed them to be in a better state of mind. Right. And that's where educating people comes in. That's where building a strong personal brand comes in, right? And that's one challenge I had. Then the second challenge where I said I was talking to the wrong people. A lot of them don't even have money to buy properties. They want to just have the next meal on their table. So no matter how much you preach to a guy who doesn't have money, even if you give him the best deal, give him all the discounts in the world, show him the best location properties in Nigeria, he does not have money, you're wasting your time. Right? A lot of them just wants to know, where is the next meal coming from? Where can I just, chop first? I want to have bills to pay. So that kind of person is not even listening to you. This don't even care about investment. So I was talking to the wrong people, number one. Secondly, I was using the wrong approach for people who have had their fingers burnt in the past. And I think that was a primary challenge for me in that at that time. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that. You've spoken about taking the right approach, speaking to the right people. You can't be advertising premium products to people who are not, being able to afford that. So you want to have the right target audience and the right approach.
Exactly.
Now, I would like us to go to your first deal, right? I know, you've spoken about a transformation journey, about how you change your approach from how you used to do it before, that you did not make sale for 1 year, for like the first couple of years, to when you made the first deal, to when you're able to close the first deal. So tell us about your first deal. I believe that was a turning point in your career as a real estate consultant, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So how did it happen? How did you close that deal?
Okay, so my first deal actually came after I had spent like close to 2 years. I was talking to people offline, going to markets, going to offices to talk to people, and nobody seemed to be responding. I began posting on social media, Facebook at the time. I started posting on Facebook, post on my stories, make posts and all of that. And then this man saw my stories one of those days, and then he sent me a DM. And at first I was thinking he wanted to even toast me. You know how this wonderful can be. So I was like, should I even answer this person first or not? But I just said, okay, let me just But and then I responded to him. That was in September. And then in Lagos, that was 2019. We were still selling plots in Ibejuleke for like 600K at the time. So the guy saw the one I posted was 600,000 and he bought 2 plots. That was 1.2 million. He just called me. I was like, okay, let's go and see the property. And then he bought 2 plots. And that was my first ever deal. And that okay, there's some light here. I could really make it. And that was just the turning point for me. After I closed that deal, I became very motivated, to keep. I was coming from doing traditional marketing that wasn't really working, and just getting to post on Facebook for a couple of times, and when I get a customer, I just said, okay, looks like this online thing. I'll stop posting pictures and the videos. So let's now focus on bringing my business on those platforms. So then I now stopped all my, social media. Now you're just being social, posting pictures for likes and comment. But now when after just one time posting my business and someone, I got a very good response. I said, okay, looks like I could do my business on the online platform. And that was how I began to use social media platforms to sell, and it's been bliss ever since.
Out, that waiting time between when you were waiting and when you were able to close this deal. How were you surviving? What were you doing in between to wait? Were you still working, in the real estate firm while waiting, while marketing and doing all of that?
Okay, so I was working in the real estate firm while marketing, but something happened, right? At a point early in 2019, they closed down the office because as a company closed down the office. That was a branch office, right? The company has other offices, but they said our office wasn't really performing. We were not generating sales like we should and all. So the office was closed down. So I stopped earning salary. I was on salary as a staff, a cleaner and all, and then I was still trying to do my marketing and all of that. But when the company closed down that office in 2019, I didn't have any job anymore. So I just focused on doing my real estate. So it was really hard. It was really, really hard. I don't even advise anybody that does not have a job, as in a let me say a newbie. If you have a job, hold your job very well.
They can hear.
Even this year, even at my level right now, this is 2024. In May, no, let me know. In June this year, I didn't have a single sale in June. The whole of June, 30 days, I didn't have a single deal. But I'm good. Nobody, you wouldn't even know. And that's because I already have a track record of clients who are making payments on installments. So I have this one like 6 months, so they pay every month. So I'm getting sale, I'm getting payments coming in every single month. So even if I don't sell in a particular month, I know I have a lot of clients who are making their monthly. So I can get like 3 or 4 payments in a month, even though I don't make any fresh sale. So I went the whole of there was no fresh sale. I was making money. So imagine if you are a realtor who does not have any clients here that is paying you every month. How would you survive one? I don't wish you that. I really pray you sell every day. But what if you don't make a sale in a month? How do you go through that? So when I say newbie realtors and then you have a job, great. if you have a skill, any other skill. So at some point in 2019, I learned how to make nails. After my high school in 2011, my mom was like, oh, go and learn a skill. So I learned a little bit of makeup. I learned how to tie gilly. I learned how to make nails and fix eyelashes, all that girly stuff that time. So I started using that thing after in 2019. Started using that thing. I'll make nails for ladies, they pay me. So I had some little amount of money here and there. So that's how
Yeah.
I in myself. And then my mom was amazing. I mean, I was in a house, so you have food to eat at least. You're not hungry. You have to cover your head, you know.
Yeah.
So that was just it for me. I had something else I was making money from pending when I
Okay.
closed that deal. So if Pharaoh
Mm.
don't have a job, whew, I don't know how you want to do it, but
Yeah.
if you have something, if you can find something to do, that's for newbies. Oh. Me at
Yeah.
this point, if I don't sell in a month, I'm 100% fine, right?
Yeah.
For newbies who may not have any track record yet, who may not have been any skill yet, you may want to get something or make money off your skill while you still, hope for the first or the next client, right?
Mm. Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your personal journey, with us, because it was important for us to cover that, to
Yeah,
ensure that, enthusiasts and newbies can be motivated, and
yeah.
we all can find motivation from your story. Now, moving into the investors aspect, right? As an investor, what key factors do you think, or do you consider when you're evaluating potential real estate markets?
As an investor. Okay, so as an investor, one of the things that I look at before I can invest in a market, I want to see what's in the news about this location. What's in the news about the location?
Mm.
What's government? So I'm talking about the government right now, right? What is in the news? So there are locations where you really want to invest in and you know you have potential for returns. The entire idea behind investing is to be able to make money of your investment, right? Is to be able to provide solutions,
Mm.
maybe housing solutions, farming solutions, industrial solutions, any kind of solution at all, and then make money off that investment. So, of course, we'll tell you, oh, location is important. But before I even think about the location, the first thing I want to know is what is in the news about that. When I mean the news, I'll give you an instance. So you are Googling, let's say, let me use a particular state. Please, nobody should take this personal. So let me say you Google what is happening in Kaduna or what's happening in maybe Kwara or any state. You see 520 workers laid off, 22
Mm.
kidnapped, 14 dead in a fire
Mm.
outbreak or whatever. XYZ fell down and killed 88 people. You don't, and then that's one location. And then you come to locations like maybe Lagos, Abuja, or Enugu, or any other, big city. And you're hearing Dangote refinery produces 38 barrels of oil, looks to employ 158 new workers, 85 teachers employed.
Mm.
You see 582 housing units built, but where will you invest? Will you go to where kidnappers are kidnapping people?
Mm.
Nobody's taking this thing personal. So if
Mm.
you want to see what is in the news about that location, that's the first thing. So I will Google if it's
Mm.
Ibadan. I will Google. When you go on Google will give you an option to see the news aspect. So if you go on Google, you will see images, news, videos. You go to the news about
Mm.
that
Yeah.
city. What is the government's future proposed plan? What is their proposed project that
Mm.
are hoping to do? Maybe not now, maybe in the next 2 months, 5 years, whatever. What is in news about that location? Not we don't want to invest where they are kidnapping people. Because wherever they are kidnapping people, wherever they are always burning houses and they're bringing down people, it has a way of diminishing the value of their real estate. But
Mm.
wherever you see, oh, job employment, infrastructure, you know that, okay, this is a very viable location for me to invest in. So because as an investor, what's the first thing I look out for? What is in the news?
Mm.
Then if I see any positive thing on the news about that location, and I begin to look out for, okay, how has the location grown in the last 5 to 10 years? Because welcome to Nigeria, where the government will promise and not do. So after I have
Yeah.
seen news where they said, okay, they will do this, they will do that, and I want to see what is the growth trajectory. How has that location been over the last 5 years, 10 years? What have happened in that location that is bringing in people, as attracting migration, because real estate thrives on the number of factors, migration rates, My people move into a particular location, government interest in a particular location. Let's say maybe the government is fixing roads or developing any kind of infrastructure at all. Foreign investors, these are people that drive, because me as an individual, my 1 million naira that I want to buy one program cannot develop a location. So until you see the government who can bring in billions of and trillions of naira into a particular place, there's hope. Then I cannot bring in my 1 million, my 500K to invest in that place, right? So you look at what's in the news, you look at government interest, you look at foreign investor interest, you look at what they have done over time. What have they done over time? So you go to a particular place. How was the road in 2017? And how is the road in 2024? The locations in Nigeria here, I can mention Ogun State, Aton. That road has been ever since I attend Winners Chapel. So I go to water almost every Sunday. That road in Aton has been that way since 2015, 2014, that I've been going to church till 2024. That road is still the way it is. And you tell me to go and invest in Aton, Ogun State, I can't come there. So you want to see, what is the government doing? How was this place before? How is it now? It gives me hope that, okay, the government is working. Maybe not at speed that it ought to be, but at least there's some significant level of growth.
Progress.
Hey, I come and invest there. So you want to see what are they doing? How is the place growing over the years? That's number two. Then you now look out for the infrastructure and all of that, and then government interest, foreign investor interest, and migration rates. Yes. So those
Amazing.
So I would tell an investor to look out for before you begin to think about investing in a particular location.
Thank you so much, Madame Landlady. That was so detailed. That's so insightful and can help investors make informed decisions. Now, as a real estate consultant, I know that you have worked with various real estate developers, real estate builders, and so I know that in these years of experience, you would have understood and you would have been exposed to different kinds of financing options that are available for real estate investors today. So let's dive into that. What are some of the best financing options that you would say are available for real estate investors today?
Financing options. So are you talking about something like a mortgage, or what exactly when you say financing?
Yes. So financing in the sense that, how could they be able to get capital to develop their projects, to build their projects, yes, after doing the purchasing stage?
Okay, so there are different levels of development, right? There's the development where you as a one man, as a one individual, you want to just build a small family house for your children and your wife, or the part where you are a landlord, you want to develop maybe 5 units or 2-bedroom flats so you can earn rental income. There's that part. Those are like small scale development. And then we have large scale development where you want to develop what we like all these apartments, then the skyscrapers that we see, the large scale apartment as a proper developer. So you're developing to sell and all of that. Like we have a particular project right now where we have over 200 units of 4 and 3 bedroom duplexes. That's a large scale development. So it now depends. First of all, what do you want to do? Are you doing a small scale development just for me, my family? Or are you doing just to have 1 or 2 tenants, rent 1 or 2 apartments here and there? Or do you want to do a large scale development where you have people over 200 units, 500 units, the skyscrapers, hotels, and other big industries, right? So what do you want to do exactly? Then your capital, if you are doing a small scale thing, you can do it yourself. If you have your money, then when we talk about financing is when you want to do a very large project or a significantly large project. And there are various ways that I have seen developers here in Lagos finance their projects. I have a couple of them who I know who obtain loan from the bank. They obtain bank loans to finance their project, but you have to do your mathematics because the interest rate must not affect you. The inflation rate must not, if not, this can go south, right? So I know developers who obtain loans from the bank, of course, doing your mathematics very well. They obtain loans to finance their projects. I also know that another way to finance your project is to do what they call JV, that's joint venture. Joint venture is also another way to finance. It's one of the most popular ways in Lagos. In fact, I know in Lagos and in Abuja, let me not say in Nigeria, Lagos and Abuja, JVC is one of the most popular ways that developers finance their projects. So a lot of buildings that you see, a lot of skyscrapers, a lot of hotels, big hotels that you see, is not owned by one person. So JVs is a joint venture where you have up to 5, 10, 15 people come together, because these are projects that are running into billions of naira. One person may not be able to handle that such huge project. So they come together as investors. You bring your 10 million, you bring your 100 million, you bring your 300 million, and then we put all of these things together and we develop the unit. So they are like co-owners. Now, and that's a joint venture. It's another very easy way to finance your project. Do a joint venture with friends. Of course, you have contracts that are going to be drawn. So everybody understands that profit is shared sometimes based on amount of money that you invested. So I've seen for JVs, sometimes they say, okay, there are two ways that they make money off a joint venture kind of financing. So let's say 10 people come together and I let's say Fola, you brought maybe 100 million, then me, I brought 50 million, someone else brought 30, 100 million, all of that. So at the end of the day, we can say, okay, we are not going to share profits. You all earn profits based on how much you invested. That's one way. So by the time you guys sell the project or rent the project, annually, people are sharing your project based on how much you invested. And then another way that they also get profits of a joint venture financed project is that we say, okay, we are developing 100 units of 2-bedroom, or we're developing 200 units of maybe 5-bedroom or 3-bedroom apartments. So, since you brought 100 million, after we finish developing about 200 units of apartments, I'm going to give you 10 units. 10 units is your own. You can sell it, you can rent it, is your own. That is based on how much you brought. The me that brought like 10 million naira only, you can give me 1 unit because it's how much I brought. Or they may never give me 1 unit. They may say, okay, if I brought 10 million now and someone else brought 10 million and another person brought, we are 3 that brought 10 million, they'll give 3 of us 1 unit. Because our money is small, depending on the value of the apartment. So you guys will get 3 units, 2 units, 10 units, depending on how much you brought. So it's not left for you to go and sell. So when you see a very large building, they are owned by multiple people. A different person owns floor 1, another person owns floor 2. So it's another way to finance your project. You do not have so much money to finance it by yourself if it's a very large project. So joint ventures, getting loans from banks are the 2 primary ways that I've seen my colleagues who are developers. These are the 2 ways I know that they finance their project. Bank loans, mortgages in Nigeria. I haven't tried it before. I don't really know how it works, but from people that I have spoken to over time, they don't really encourage what's it called, mortgages in Nigeria, because the interest rate is crazy, right? And we don't really have a more compared to developed countries like the US, where you can take an apartment and pay for 20 years, 25 years. It doesn't work that way in Nigeria, because many times the government is not heavily invested in real estate compared to the US, where the government is actively involved in their real estate. Here in Nigeria, anybody can build anything and sell anything, and nobody will disturb you. So the thing is that we have developers who are funding projects from their money. So if I'm building a house with my money, I cannot give it 25 years to pay. I can't wait that long to make my money. But if it's the government involved in that real estate, the government can give it 25 years, can give it 30 years, but it is a government finance project. But an individual who is developing the project, I can't give it 5 years. Highest I will give you is 1 year, 2 years, because it's my personal money and I need to make money, but I'm not your government. Do you get? So we don't really have a very good mortgage system in Nigeria that is really flexible and cost effective for people to use. So I would say bank loans to finance your projects, and I would say joint venture. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that from the investor's perspective. Now let's move into the realtor's perspective and touch ground on that. You spoke about how you had to transform your approach, and I know that involved maintaining client relationships as well. So how would you say what would you consider some of the most effective strategies to maintaining and building strong client relationships?
Okay, so
as a realtor?
okay, I'm gonna share what I actually do. So customer service is one of the it's a strategy. Customer service is a strategy to retain people and even get them to refer you and buy from you over and over again. So the first thing I would say is have a very, very emotionally appealing customer service. The way you respond to them when they call, or maybe when you call or text, it's really important. How you make them feel,
Mm.
from the point where they reach out to you and say, oh, I saw your ad, I want to buy a property, to the point where they maybe come for inspection and then they pay, or they get their documents, or they get a location. All the process from the point they reach out to you to the point they exit, make it a memorable one, make it a seamless one, make it a stress-free one. Do not at any point stress your clients. At any
Mm.
point, you won't make them feel like, you are stressing me, or this thing
Yeah.
is difficult for me to do, right? So maintaining client relationship is first of all making them feel good from the point they reach out to you to the point when they pay and you guys are done. Maintain a very good approach, a very excellent customer service, prompt response, prompt delivery, communicate. Communicate. I have a couple of clients who bought some off-plan properties, and they are still building the house, right? So almost every week, or at least every 2 weeks, I would send somebody to go to the site, make a video, show me what is going on in my client's property. I will send the video to them. Hello,
Yeah.
I went to property today. They are doing the tiling. If I made any corrections, I'll tell him, oh, I made a correction here. I told the guy, don't paint this, paint that. Let them know that you are actively involved in their matter. Not like you
Mm.
leave them to themselves, right? To the point where they get the send them tests, keep them in the loop, let them know what is going on with their project. I also have clients who bought lands, right? They bought lands since like 2 years ago. Almost every month, or at least twice in a year, I'll tell them, oh, hello, sir, your property that you bought for 800K or 1 million naira or 2 million naira. They increase the price. The price is now 15 million. Oh, it's appreciated. They make them feel like, okay, she's carrying me along. Or if they make any development on sir, I'll tell them, okay, sir, at the time you bought, there was no gatehouse, there was no this, but right now I'll show them videos. We've done the gatehouse, we've done, so your property is looking really good and the place is developing. They want to see that where I bought is not just inside one bush, something is going on there, and they can't come there every day. So you, as the director that goes to the site every day, keep them in the loop. It's one way of making them feel that, oh, you really place value on them and you place value on their investment. You really want to see them grow and make money. So that's one. Another thing that I also do is I don't forget their big days. When they fill a form to buy a property, the part where I collect birthday, what's it called? Birth dates, right? Birthday, whatever. I collect it and then you make them feel good. I send them gifts during Christmas, New Year, Easter. I make sure I send my clients gifts. Maybe not all of them because there are so much. So the ones I send gifts in December, you will not collect New Year. So I just segment it. So collect New
Yeah.
Year, collect Christmas, or collect during Easter. So everybody gets something. My client had his marriage today. I went for his wedding earlier today. And he's a client that has given me up to 3 or 4 referrals. And he had bought from me twice and given me lots of referrals. So what I did was yesterday was Friday. I went to what's it called? Eco Market. If you're in Lagos, you know Lagos Island Market. I went and I bought souvenirs. Like when I mean souvenirs, you're not playing. I bought souvenirs. I customized it for a wedding that is not my wedding or my brother's wedding or my family's wedding. I was distributing souvenirs and I customized it courtesy Madame Landlady. And they were like, are you a sister? I said, I'm not a sister, he's my client. Hello. But I got married today. I wish I could stand up. I'll show you the souvenir I distributed. Very sound. Tell me how that guy would not blow my trumpet to all his friends. Right. And then his friends saw, Madam Landlady, tell me, Madam Landlady. I took my contact number. That will lead to more and more deals, because I bought them a gift.
Yeah.
That man will remember me for life. That she came to my wedding, and she shared gifts in my own wedding. So it's
The
one way to make
thoughtfulness
them.
really goes a
Yeah,
long way.
exactly. So you make your clients feel good. Send them gifts. Even if you don't have money to send them gifts, a little message, checking up on you would go a long way. Let me give you another instance. Sometime in December, crossing over to the new year, 31st of 31st of December. You know, on the 1st of January, there'll be so many messages, Happy New Year. And that in that rush, you can treat everybody alike. It's normal Happy New Year broadcast now. So what I did that, year, 31st of December, it was really, really stressful. I have a lot of clients. I went to my WhatsApp and I began to find my clients one by one. I was sending them a voice message one by one. It was stressful because there are so many of them, and I was praying for them. You know, even those that have not bought. I even send gifts to clients that have not bought. The fact that you sent me a DM or you called me and we have discussed and you've not bought for whatever reason, I will get back to you. I'll collect your address. I'll send you a gift. If I send a gift to your apartment, your conscience will not allow, your conscience won't even let you breathe. You really are calling me to buy because I've activated a principle that now makes you indebted to me. Right? So that's Christmas period, that New Year period. I now made a voice note and I was sending to all my clients, even the ones I had not bought. I sent it and I was praying. I will now make my voice very, 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 very sweet. So you remember me for life. Yeah. So I sent that message and my clients were like, wow, wow, wow. Before the rush of the Happy New Year starts, you've got to my own on the 31st with a voice, not a random distributed, forwarded message. A voice message. I will call you Mr. Kingsley, Mrs. XYZ. There's something about calling people's name. When I call your name, it makes it really that I know you. I know you. There's not just one random contact on my WhatsApp, right? So I did that, and on my own, I felt like I was just being nice. And then 2 clients were like, Mercy, this thing you did, nobody has done this for me in a long time. Not that somebody have not called them to pray for them. Of course, you receive prayers every day. What makes my own prayer special? It's special. I called your name and I was intentional about the prayers I was dropping. I was so intentional. You know, so and then 2 of them bought prices from me. Bought over 40 million. The 2 of them.
Amazing.
Just by being intentional about how I make them feel. So yes, customer service, gifts, reaching out to them, carrying them along all through their project, making them feel good is one way.
I know that.
Sorry, you saying something?
Client relationship. I know that all this you've mentioned, right, is enough to make you stand out in a competitive market. But now, taking it away from client relationship, what else can you do as a realtor to stand out in today's competitive market?
Okay. So one thing that you can do, one thing that helps me stand out, if you meet 10 people today and you ask them, what exactly makes Madame Landlady stand out? If I'm the one saying it now, it will be like I'm blowing my trumpet. But you can meet 10 people and ask them, what makes Madame Landlady stand out? What makes her stick in your head? I'm sure at least 7 to 8 of them will tell you one thing. Like they'll say the same thing over and over again. Is the fact that I wouldn't just come and start asking you to buy. I'm not even sure I've reached out to up to 10 people in my life asking them to buy. Like right now, since like the last 2 years, I can't count 10 persons that I've reached out to and say, come and buy a property from me. They just by themselves. So I take the time and the effort to educate you. If you go through my videos online, I do a lot of marketing, mostly online. If you go through my videos, you will, before you see any video saying, come and buy 1 or 2 properties, you must have seen at least 3 or 4 videos educating you about real estate. I make videos like back to back, educating you how to avoid being scammed, how to know the right locations. Every single, my head is like a content bank. So I have a lot of content that I have put out. I even have a course I recorded 2 years ago for real estate beginners. For beginners, about 8 episodes on that course. You go and watch it. There's no how you will be scammed following me. No way. So I take the pain to educate. When you find somebody who educates you, it shows you that the person has my best interest. So whenever you want to buy property, you think about me first than that person who have been telling you buy. Right? So that's one thing I did, and I educate you. I have a truckload of educational content on real estate, investing. I even invite guests. Same way you invite me like this to your platform, I have my colleagues who I invite and I host them and I ask them questions. I invite investors to learn. All of these things would keep me top in mind. Because when you meet 10 realtors, you find 7 of them just saying buy this, buy this, buy this. You find very few of them trying to educate. Except right now that it's now becoming a thing to educate clients, right? So yeah, educating your clients. Another thing that okay, let me keep this. It might not make sense to a beginner realtor.
Okay.
But
Okay.
yeah, educating people has proven over time. I mean, even in our daily lives, right? You walk into a restaurant or you walk into a boutique to buy clothes, right? The person you would pay attention to is the one who tells you, oh, you are a size 10, your bust is 40, your hip is 40, this XYZ will fit you, this black dress will fit you, compared to who tells you, buy this one. But you will pay more attention to the person who cares about you by trying to educate you about your body so you can make the right choice, educating you about anything you want to put, you can make the right choice. You pay more attention to them than the person just saying to buy, buy, buy. So if you're a realtor right here, one way you can start out in a very competitive market, stop screaming buy, buy, buy. Find a way you can educate your clients. It's the easiest way to win their hearts.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. And, speaking on education, let's just look at it from the enthusiast perspective. What resources do you think, what educational resources would you recommend or would you say are available for real estate enthusiasts to learn how to, thrive in the industry, how to become an expert, how to move from enthusiast, to a renowned expert? What are those resources that you feel you consumed over the course of your career as a real estate consultant that has brought you here?
Okay, so I read a lot, I research a lot, and I attend trainings a lot. I don't think there's any month that I don't have any training that I attend, whether free or paid, right? So give yourself to knowledge. Give yourself to knowledge because you cannot pour out of an empty cup, right? So you have to constantly put yourself in an environment that enables you to learn. So give us that there are books I can recommend a couple of them. There's this book by Udo Okonjo. Udo Okonjo is the CEO of Fine and Country Real Estate Limited. She has a book, though it's for women, but anybody can read. Real women invest in real estate by Udo Okonjo. There are books from Tade Cash that I have read. I'm giving you Nigerian authors because there are lots of books from foreign authors, but how it works in America is not the way it works in Nigeria, right? So there are books on Nigerian real estate authors. So Tade Cash has books on real estate. Udo Okonjo has books on real estate that you can read. There are also lots of who again can I even recommend? Olumide Emmanuel has books. They have lots of videos that you can watch and learn about real estate, learn about marketing, learn about sales and follow up and closing. Lots of them that you can follow like that. So yeah, you can start with Olumide Emmanuel, you can start with Tade Cash, you can start with Udo Konjo. Then when you go online, maybe Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram, wherever, you also see top selling realtors like yourself, right? Like myself, and you could follow them and learn and see what they do, right? See what they do and learn from them and then follow in their footsteps, right? So it's one way that you can also, and then you research a lot. There's no day I don't go on Google to find something, maybe find a course or find a book or just understand something basically. So give yourself to learning. Use Google a lot. Google anything. You want to understand property documents, you can Google these things. You can go on YouTube. There are lots of videos you can watch on how to understand documents, how to understand different things. You can also get a mentor in the industry. Have somebody that you really admire. Maybe he's a developer or a realtor like yourself. I don't really advise realtors though. Find a developer that you admire what he or she is doing, and then you can stay under their tutelage, and you will learn a whole lot from them.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that, Ma. We have just 10 minutes left. But before we take our last question, I wanted to ask you, what tips would you give, both realtors and enthusiasts and even investors on negotiating the best deals that are favorable to both you as a seller and the buyer?
Tips on how to negotiate the best deal. Is that your question?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So I think I made a video on negotiation techniques and all of that. So for me,
Yes, I think it was a 3-part series. I've seen it.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so I have a video like that where you can learn that different ways you can negotiate a deal for yourself. And but one of the things I would say is there's an art of negotiation. You need to understand the art of negotiation. So when you are negotiating, it simply means that the person you want to twist, not twist, well, let me use the word twist. You want to twist things in your favor. That's what the question is. It's about doing things in your favor. So let's say you have said A and I want you to do B for me. So it's about me trying to convince you to do my bidding. That is what negotiation is. So it's something that you have to learn. Because when negotiating, it's a body of work. It's a lot. There's an emotional appeal to negotiation. And that's the reason why when you go to the market and you want to buy something and you kind of smile and be playful with the seller, the person has a way of just saying, okay, because you've been smiling with me, putting sales to you, more than when you have a rigid face. So there's an emotional part of negotiation, right? So it now depends on what kind of approach that you want to use. There's a part of negotiating where you have to make sacrifice, where you have to let go of something, right? So I want you to do this for me, and there's something I should be willing to part with. So there are different ways there are different approaches to negotiating. So I may not be able to say, okay, this is the best technique. So it now depends on the circumstances, right? So it depends on circumstances. You now know if to use the emotional approach or if to use the sacrifice approach of letting something go or finding a common ground, basically. So what approach exactly? What is the circumstance? Is what will determine what approach that you want to use. So other things I will just tell you, the art of negotiation is a whole lot of work. You may have to go and take your time and learn out of it. But then you must understand that the goal of negotiating is to get the other person to do what I want. So depending on the circumstance, you now know if to go emotional, if to even go manipulative. Yes, there's a part of manipulation during negotiation. There's a whole lot of work, right? So it depends on circumstances. I can't just say, go and do this, you get the best deal. There are different ways to negotiate, right? Before you can say, okay, this is what works for me. So go and learn about negotiation, basically. There are lots of courses and even videos you can watch on YouTube regarding the art of negotiation.
Thank you so much for sharing that, ma'am. So now we're moving to the last question, Madame Landlady. It has been such a pleasure having you here. The last question is for my audience. What advice would you give someone looking to follow your footsteps, and build a successful career as a real estate consultant?
Okay, I'm going to say invest heavily in personal branding. Invest heavily in personal branding because if you meet 10 people today, 7 of them are selling properties. The market is very saturated. Everybody's selling property. Everybody has a plug. You have to invest in personal branding. Invest heavily in personal branding. And yeah, that's what helped me stand out. I have a name. So these days, people don't even know I'm Mercy Okeke. Mercy Okeke is my actual name. Madame Landlady is my business. So people even now know me as Madame Landlady. I took my time to invest in that name through content, through ads campaigns, right? And then intentionality, branding that name. So you have the personal branding and then invest in content marketing. Don't just come out and start saying, buy my land, buy my house. People need to trust you, right? That's the reason why we have our money in the bank. You are banking with maybe Zenith Bank or you're banking with Fidelity Bank. Your money is there. What makes you so confident that you can come to your house and sleep and be sure that your money is safe in that bank? It's because over time they have really invested in their brand that you can trust them to keep your millions of naira. So you as a realtor, can people trust you to even give you 500,000 naira for a half plot of land somewhere in Ogun State? So you need to invest heavily in your brand so that people can. I've had clients who have not seen me before buy properties worth millions of naira. How are they able to trust me from different parts of the world? It's because they have seen that I've invested in my branding. I have a track record of keeping my word, right? Delivering on my promises. These are ways that you can then find a good company to partner with. As you invest in your brand, as you put out content, putting yourself out there as a professional, you also want to work with a reputable company. So it makes the job easy for you. right? So because as you're out there saying, oh, I'm trustworthy, imagine if I, as Madam Landlady, I now work with a company that they refuse to give my client their location, or they refuse to give client documents. Customer will say I'm a scam. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter whether I'm Madam Landlady, they call me a scam. So as much as I'm investing in my name and my brand, I want to be careful of the companies I apply. They will not stay my whites. Do you understand? So you want to work
Yeah.
with companies that are very reputable. It makes the job very easy for you, right? So that's it.
Amazing. It has been so great having you here tonight. Thank you for all the insight you have shared. Everyone on the live session, send in your emoji now saying thanks
Thank
to Madam Landlady.
you so much.
Madam Landlady is live on Instagram. On her page, there are so many resources you can consume and grow as an investor, as a realtor, or as an enthusiast. So it has been our absolute pleasure. Thank you so much, ma'am. We look forward to having you again sometime in the future.
Thank
All
you so
right. Bye. Good night, everyone.
much.
Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't. It's been a pleasure having everyone here tonight. Goodbye.